Let's go. So we're talking about our games Bobarista, which is currently still on development. It's sit in between the mental health space and also video games. So we're a team of five. We have Michelle, who's our programmer, and then Emma, our game designer, and also currently our social media girl, so I will say. And then we have Cheryl here, who's the 2D artist. I'm Fitri doing the narrative design, and then we have Nick, who is our composer and also sound designer. So, what else, Bobarista? It is a mobile game, a cozy mobile game which combines storytelling on life experience with mental health support, cute Australian animals, and also bubble tea making. But at the same time, it's also mental health care reimagined, where we're trying to get people from the community to share their untold stories and reach those people who's often left behind by traditional mental health support. So the game itself, the story is you play as a wombat who stumble upon a magical bubble truck nestled in a quiet mountainside. You become the new barista running this cozy little shop and welcome people who's in need of comfort. It's you can imagine it like coffee talk mid Animal Crossing, basically. So Michelle get the inspiration from a coffee truck in a mountains on Adelaide. I personally get the idea for a story from a coffee truck that I find somewhere in a very shady alley back when I was doing my bachelor in Indonesia. And it was only open in midnight, which is so weird. And there's a lot of all the people who coming there is also so weird as well, but it was a very fun experience. I come back this year to the same alley, they're not there, so maybe they are magical, I don't know. Oh, I'm coming back. There we go. But of course, the heart of Bobarista in the characters, because all this character is based on people's real experience, and we're trying to like workshop it together with them to actually create these characters. Maybe you want to start talking about it, Cheryl?
Yeah, so these are the
I think you need to
characters.
use this one.
So these are the characters that we've been working on so far. So as what Fitri mentioned, these are actually stories based on people's life experience, and we've also currently doing research as well, just to make sure that we've also providing accurate and respecting people's boundaries as well, based on their stories. So these are the characters that we've been currently working on so far, and the next slide will just be gonna be talking about how and where do we get these characters from. So one of the examples that we put in for our game is a blue-tongued lizard. So we got really inspired by animals in Australia and thought it'd be really cool to put a blue-tongued lizard there in our game. And since not a lot of people really know indigenous animals in Australia that much, especially these kind of species, thought it'd be nice to just put it in our game and find out we just put a story for this character. And so we named Late Mabel for the blue-tongued lizard, and I choose colors based on the personality for this character. Mabel is quite stubborn and very perfectionist, so I thought of choosing colors that's muted and earthy. And also, I thought of also experimenting character design for Mabel. So since she is very stubborn, thought of doing angular body shapes, and that's how I learned like doing character design. You really need to know the silhouette of the character and just listening to the character's personality. You kind of go on the way and just see how you go. So on the right corner, sorry, these are like the previous designs that I thought like, why don't we try something cute, but that doesn't really correlate to her personality. So I thought of something like, let's say we can just do a grandma, because who knows, maybe it'll look interesting and eye-catching, and at the end, like, we really love it at how it looks. So that's the character design process.
I think I'm gonna need to use this.
The next slide is just gonna be how this is designed in the screens for the Bobarista. It's one of the mini games, and this is actually Mabel's mini game. It's a puzzle. She's gonna be organizing these vases in the correct shelves. And when the player starts to pick the vase, they need to follow that dotted lines where the vases needs to be put at. And this is how I usually work on the kind of the workflow that I did. So usually I first start off with the with some concept sketches, just to have a rough idea. Brainstorming a lot, doesn't have to be perfect. All of it just needs to be rough and sketchy. And next step would be the refined prototype. And this is where it gets all the rough ideas getting to a clean setup. You kind of pick what features you want to pick from that rough draft. That just gives you a lot more clear idea. And the next, which is the final step, will be polishing. That's where you're adding colors, gradients, and just getting feedback from the team, because it's really important. And I think that's how I usually work on for mini games, and also to other apply for screen designs as well. Just sharing this tip because it's really nice to have that kind of pipeline, because I know that in terms of design, it can be so chaotic and you have all of these brilliant ideas, but you just don't know where to start. So sometimes getting a rough step from that and follow through this next step just gives you a clear mind, and also lets the team understand really well, because we know that working in a team from different areas can make us confusing to understand. So just having this kind of pipeline really helps artists and also other team members to just understand. That's the end of the presentation. Feel free to follow our Instagram and socials, and these are the characters.